I went to Podcast Movement Evolutions 2025 in Chicago. I was an accepted speaker. I had a roundtable session, which thankfully took place on the first day so that I could get it over with and not be nervous for the entire event. I was super excited to meet some people I'd only talked to online and really get to see some of the other sessions and hang out and just see what the event was about. It's one of the biggest podcast events here in the United States. So I was really excited for this to be my first event, my first time going, and just see what I could see, experience what I could experience. The festival kicked off with none other than the Ambies, which is an awards ceremony for some of the biggest and best names in podcasting. It was a good mix of well-known podcasts and indie podcasts, and I really enjoyed breathing the same air as Guy Raz for at least 5 seconds. I think that was a good way to kick off the conference because it just allowed me to not have to think about being super on. I was just kind of a member of the audience, and getting to hang out was super nice before the real work began. My session was one of the first of the day. I was transparently super surprised at how many people showed up. It was like sitting and standing room only. And so I was basically yelling at people without a mic for 30 minutes. Not the thing that I thought I was going to be doing, but it was super great. So many people came with so many incredible questions. And hopefully I'll be able to answer them and share them publicly some kind of way. I'm writing a book of sorts about community building, and a lot of those questions and answers to those questions will end up in that book. So I'll leave the link in the description if you want to sign up for the wait list for that. And that was, of course, what my talk was about, community building for podcasters, but it's translatable for creative entrepreneurs of all kinds, people who are trying to build B2C communities and businesses. I think it's going to be super relevant for you guys. So I'll leave that in the link below. No sponsor, unless you count me as the sponsor for this video. Anywho, back to Podcast Movement. So after my session, I got to relax a little bit. I got to walk around the floor. I got to see some really cool sessions that day. And of course, there were some really great meetups. Riverside had a meetup. That was really awesome. Dystopia had a meetup that day. That was beautiful. And there was the big iHeart media party, so everybody was there and it was packed, and it was at Spin Chicago. And after that, I kind of took some liberties to walk around near the Chicago Theater, which is super gorgeous at night, and then headed in for the night. On day 3, I really wish I had planned better, if we're being honest. I got lost on the train on the way to the venue. So one of the things I like to do when I'm traveling to a city that has public transit is try to use the public transit at least once, if not majority of the time I'm there, because I don't really have as much access to that in the South. And I think public transit is like super important for how you navigate a city, and it's always good to be able to see like what are the pros and cons of using public transit and what systems work best, how do you get acclimated to it, how much different is it than just getting an Uber or renting a car or walking or biking. So I did that. I got lost in the train, rite of passage, but I figured it out, and I just got an Uber to the venue after that. While I was there, I think just because I was like just happy to be there finally, I was more interested in like hanging out than like seeing a whole lot of sessions on day 3. There were a lot of meetups that day as well. I was really interested in going to the women's sports meetup because I'm trying to grow my women's sports brand, Melanin MVP. Leave the link for that in the description below as well if you want to check that out. And that was super fun, and everybody was super nice. And I got to have lunch with my friend Jasmine, who's an incredible producer. So hit her up if you're in need of a producer and want to work on something really, really cool with her. Highly recommend her. Before the day ended, I got to sit down with someone I met at Podcast Movement Evolutions. His name is Miles. He had me on his show. We did kind of a pop-up podcast interview. I'll leave the link to that in the description. He's on YouTube. You should check him out. He does some incredible interviews with founders, and I can't wait to see how he continues to grow. He's been super consistent, way more consistent than me with the show. I don't think he's a seasonal podcaster, so I think that's part of it. But yeah, he's awesome, doing some really great work. Really excited for him and happy that he's one of the people that I got to meet at the event. And after that, that's when more meetups were happening, more fun stuff. Odyssey had an event. As you can see, I got a little something from them, this cute little pillow, and super happy to meet them there. They're having a new initiative for creators, so I think the word creators and podcasters are gonna continue to be synonymous, and that's really fun. The last day of the event was a shorter day. It was about a half day of talks, so I did go to a lot of talks that day. ESPN 30 for 30 had a really great talk. Their head of podcast was there, which was awesome. My friend Michelle, who I do Substack Lives with just about every week, she had a panel talk that Friday, and then that Thursday. She had a panel talk on the last day with women of color podcasters and some more folks. So all awesome people. I'll try to link all of this. I know I'm like throwing a lot of names at you guys, but they're all incredible podcasters that I think you should know. And that's like the whole point of this, to like meet new podcasters, see other people, what other people are creating, what they're doing, and how you can like learn from them to grow your show. And I definitely think I got that out of the experience. And then I ended the conference on the last session of the last day with a girl who does live podcast shows. So she does live events for her show, live recordings. And I was so fed. I loved her session. I'm so mad they put it on the last day and not that many people were there, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was incredible and I learned a lot. So I would definitely rate my experience like a 9 out of 10. And the only reason I'm deducting a point is because the food was super far away from the venue. So it was really hard to like grab food in the hotel and then come back within like an hour. If they had just put like food trucks right outside, that would have been a lot easier, honestly, than walking like a mile, what felt like a mile to the other end of the venue to grab something and wait to get it and then go back up. So yeah, overall, I was really happy with it. As of right now, I don't think I'm going to the one in Dallas, which is in August, but I do want to go to the big one in San Diego. I think that's happening next year in 2026. So yeah, tell me if you're interested in going to podcast conferences. Have you ever been? Do you want to go? Would you want to go as a speaker? Would you just want to go as an attendee? What would you do to make it memorable for you? What questions do you have? I would love to answer them. And I will link my full review of it that I wrote in my newsletter, Please Hustle Responsibly, in the description below. You can read and subscribe there. Thank you so much for joining me on this quest to the Windy City. And I look forward to sharing more of my adventures in growing Rootful Media, the brand, and my show, Honey and Hustle, which you can view here on YouTube on this channel. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next video.